Welcome to Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee, brought to you by oneiauto.com. Quality auto parts and thousands of how-to videos that walk you through your installs. This is week 2 of the Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee, and because it's still new, I think Matt should tell our listeners what this is all about.
Way to put me on the spot, Jeremy.
That's what I do.
Okay, fine. Engine Noise Podcast, Car News and Coffee is a new bonus segment that we're releasing in between episodes. We talk about automotive news and what's hot and trending in the automotive world. Our episodes drop on the 1st and 15th of every month, so these are like some quick little sound bites to hold you over in between episodes, like a mid-morning snack or something.
Ooh, I like snacks, like chips and salsa.
Yeah, or carrots and hummus.
Or just car news and coffee.
Let's do that.
All right, let's go. This week, we are taking a look inside Chevy Silverado's new, totally nerdy, 4-cylinder turbo engine.
4-cylinder turbo, huh?
In a Silverado.
Yeah.
That's what's cool.
Okay.
Because Silverados don't generally have 4 cylinders in them.
Right.
It's weird that no other automaker has come out with a turbocharged engine for their trucks other than Ford. Ford had their V6 twin turbo for a few years now, and now the Silverados, aka General Motors, is coming out with a 2.7-liter turbo to compete with Ford's 3.5-liter EcoBoost that's in their F-150s.
That's pretty cool.
It actually has a lot of really cool features. A, it's turbocharged, which is a huge win.
Yep, right off the bat.
It's not just turbocharged, but it's dual volute turbocharged. Do you know all about that, man?
Absolutely nothing.
I have actually never heard of this either, but I have heard of twin scroll turbochargers, and it's basically the same thing. So a twin scroll or a dual volute is basically split into 2 inlets from the exhaust. So the exhaust gets split into 2 and goes to different sections of the turbo. That makes it more efficient because cylinders are basically spinning the turbine wheel better at certain times depending on the engine load. This makes the turbocharger, or help the engine make more horsepower at lower RPM. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a twin scroll turbocharger, and it's basically been around for 20 years or so. It's pretty much when they started putting them in cars. Mitsubishi's been doing it since 2003 or something like that. Volkswagen's been doing it forever. This is, I think, the same thing. I'm assuming it's the same. I kind of looked at it and I was like, this sounds like a twin scroll. The other thing they have is integrated exhaust manifolds, which is kind of weird. Basically, instead of having an engine and then an exhaust manifold and then a turbocharger all in a row, you have a engine with a turbocharger bolted right to the head. So all of the exhaust gases go directly from the cylinder head into the turbo. So you skip the whole exhaust manifold. So it gets there quicker. Yes, it gets there quicker, and more heat gets into the turbo.
Equals more turbo.
More boost.
More
Yeah,
boost.
This thing puts out 22 PSI of boost pressure, which is actually a lot for a stock engine. If you were to boost your LS swapped Le Mans or something like that, you'd probably throw 12 PSI at it and be at the point where things are going to start breaking. But this thing's at 22 PSI, which is actually pretty high. It also has start-stop technology, which is pretty cool because you come to a stop sign.
Where you save gas and all that.
And it just turns itself off. It has an electric water pump, which apparently is on a controller of some sort, so it pumps sometimes and doesn't pump other times.
Oh, yeah.
And it depends on the situation that's going on in the actual engine. And if the engine's off at a stop sign, it knows to still pump it around to get your heat inside your cabin, which is kind of nice. Another great feature is that it has variable valve timing. Any new car pretty much has that, though.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
So not that big of a deal. But really, I think what it all comes down to, it has 300 and something horsepower. I think it's 350-ish. And that is a ridiculous amount for a 4-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right here. It's 310 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque, which is 22% more torque than the previous 4.3-liter V6 that it's replacing. So that's pretty impressive.
That's crazy.
If you were to take a 4-cylinder of any other car and try and make 310 horsepower out of it, you'd vaporize the thing. This is pretty impressive stuff. Since I love Silverados, I can see myself with one of these in the future.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Oh, the other cool thing that I forgot to mention is it has cylinder shutdown capabilities. So you'll be cruising down the highway, and it's like, you know what? We only need 2 cylinders out of the 4. So we're just going to shut off 2 of them, and it just turns off 2.
I'm going to go ahead and say that this truck is going to have all kinds of problems.
It might.
I'm going to make that call right now.
Okay. I am going to say you're probably on the right track, but if it doesn't have problems, it's going to be pretty rad.
Yeah.
The thing that I would worry about is if you have exhaust gases not going into an exhaust manifold and going straight into a turbocharger, I have a fear that the cylinder head will crack. because all exhaust manifolds crack. And if you don't have one, all that heat is going to do something somewhere.
Yep.
That's what I would be afraid of. Out of all of the things, the cylinder head integrity is what I would be most nervous about. Because not having an exhaust manifold...
That's a big one. That's a big ouch.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see. Moral is, it's a new engine for the Silverados. It's probably going to get great miles per gallon, though they haven't actually talked about how much it's supposed to get yet. Makes 310 horsepower, which is ridiculous for a four-cylinder.
Yep.
If this does actually work out, you'll be doing burnouts, you'll be hauling your tractors around, you'll be doing all your things and getting great gas mileage. Win.
Jeremy, I got a story too.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear it.
Being somewhat Boston-based, I think you'll like this one.
All right.
Get this. Actor Mark Wahlberg. You know Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I know Mark.
Don't ever call him Marky Mark to his face.
I will not.
He does not like that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, he just bought a Chevy dealership in Columbus, Ohio. The actor said he plans to be involved in the day-to-day operations of the dealership, citing his longtime love of cars. Wahlberg said that one of his last real jobs was working in a mechanic shop. He said he wants to be a hands-on owner. I've always been a huge car guy. This is a dream come true for me. We're really looking forward to being a part of the community here. I think the city picked us, and we're real excited to be here. So much great history here. The people are fantastic. It reminds me a lot of where I grew up in Boston.
Wow. That sounded exactly like Mark Wahlberg.
Well, that was a quote from him.
Oh, but did you do it?
No, that was, I found a sound clip.
I thought I saw you doing it.
No, that was not me.
Wow, that's weird.
Nope.
Sounded just like him.
No.
Okay. Matt, I'm going to jump into the third story. One of my friends just traded in their old Ford Ranger because they were driving down the street and the bed was basically falling off the truck. It was bouncing up and down because there was no mounts left on it.
That's unfortunate.
And there's good news, because Ford is now making a brand new Ford Ranger.
Boom.
And here's what it will cost you. The 2019 Ford Ranger build-your-own site is up, and with it, all of the prices for the company's new mid-size pickup truck. The cheapest way that you can get this is a two-wheel drive Super Cab XL with a 6-foot bed. That will set you back $25,395, including destination. The most expensive is the Lariat 4x4 Super Crew with a 5-foot bed. This starts at a healthy $39,480. The new Ranger is not that small. It has a 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4 that will make, hopefully, 350 horsepower. 350 horsepower is more than the Silverado.
Yeah, it is. But you know what, Jeremy? I'm not really happy about this.
Really? Why not?
There's not too many small trucks nowadays.
That's true. I would say close to none.
Yeah, and the Ranger was one of those few small trucks that were still, you could get good gas mileage and all that, that happy stuff.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to have a hard time parking in the city. And
it didn't cost $40,000 either.
Exactly. That's a huge part of this.
Right.
I'm just not too happy about it.
Yeah. And they're calling it a mid-size truck, so it's not a mini truck anymore.
Right.
Just for kicks, I hopped on the website a little earlier today, and I was like, I'm going to build myself a Ranger and see what it comes out to.
Oh, boy.
I didn't go crazy. I built it up the way I would build it, and it came up to about $35,000, which was...
kind of crazy.
It's definitely a lot of money. It's less than what you'd probably pay for like an F-150 with the same options, but it's still just a lot of money.
Yeah. If you pay that much, get something that you can live in. Get an RV.
Or maybe a small little beach house.
That brings us to our fourth story.
Okay.
Gail Weiss, 76, of Park Ridge, Illinois, is the first buyer of the 1964 Ford Mustang. Gail Weiss kept the car. It's now worth $350,000. Tom and Gail Weiss disagreed about whether a broken-down car should be stored in a family garage for 27 years or sold for junk. He insisted they keep it because he promised one day he would find the time to fix the vehicle himself. Gail purchased the Skylight Blue convertible Ford Mustang at age 22 in 1964. Their family of 6 drove it for 15 years until it broke. Now, as Ford celebrates production of the 10 millionth Mustang, Gail Weiss is back in the spotlight, and so is her Mustang, which will be on public display in Royal Oak, Michigan.
$350,000 sounds like a lot of money for any Mustang, Matt.
It sounds like a lot of money for anything.
I'd like to know who decided it was worth $350,000. It's undoubtedly important. It's the first Mustang. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But $350,000, like who would actually pay that?
Someone at the Barrett's car auction?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a Mustang guy enough to think that it should be worth $350,000. I could see maybe like $100,000.
Well, it's like a first edition Charles Dickens novel. Why are they so expensive, you know?
That's a good point. And that about wraps up our Engine Noise Podcast Car News and Coffee this week. Engine Noise Podcast Car News and Coffee is brought to you by 1AAuto.com. Quality auto parts and thousands of how-to videos that walk you through your install. Be sure to tune in to Engine Noise Podcast on the 1st and 15th of every month. And until then, have a little car news with your coffee and Oreos, maybe?
Chocolate chip or really any kind of cookies.
Yeah, like Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, Thin Mints.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Or peanut butter cookies.
Yep.
Maybe some oatmeal cookies.
Oh, yeah. Any kind of Christmas cookies.
Hey, Matt, did you know that 1AAuto is having their 9th annual car show?
I did know that.
We're going to be there.
That's right.
I think we have our own booth.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. We're going to be able to meet a lot of people, see a lot of cars. We'll give away some stickers, maybe some T-shirts and, some other swag.
And I'm hoping to have my Le Mans there.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to drive there.
Well.
I think it'll be trailered there, possibly. Because I don't think it's going to be legal.
Yeah, well, whatever. If you're a fan of cool cars, Engine Noise Podcast, hot dogs,
ice cream,
live music,
people,
why don't you come on down?
September 9th from 9 to 1. It's at the Pepperell, Massachusetts Town Field.